Okay, people. Welcome back to No Spoilers, the only place on the internet where we break everything down without ruining your whole watch experience. And today? Today we are getting into Tyler Perry's Divorced Sistas, Season 1, Episode 1, titled The Pretty Lady. Now before you even ask, yes, that title is doing a lot of heavy lifting by the end of this episode. Keep that in mind. We open on a school pickup. Sounds innocent, right? 2 women, a car, a school gate. That's what Tyler Perry wants you to think. We meet Tiffany, played by Brianna Price, and Geneva, played by Kadeen Indrea. These two are thick as thieves. Tiffany is in the middle of a divorce. Her ex's name is John, and here's the twist that already sets the tone for who Tiffany is. She is the one paying alimony. Yes, she is paying him. Honey, that alone tells you Tiffany has been carrying weight that nobody gave her credit for. Geneva, on the other hand, is still married to a man named William, and from the outside, Geneva's life looks polished. She's a high-profile lawyer. She has a beautiful daughter named Anika. She's about to go on a romantic getaway with her husband. Everything looks fine. But this is a Tyler Perry show. Nothing is ever fine. After the pickup, the ladies head back to Geneva's house, and when they pull up to the driveway, somebody is already waiting outside. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Naomi, played by Portia Coleman, and she is already out here looking like chaos in a cute outfit. Now here's what you need to know about Naomi right away. She just finalized a divorce from her ex-husband, Franklin, and this was not a small divorce. This woman walked away with a $37 million property settlement. $37 million. So financially, she is set. Emotionally, she is absolutely unraveling. Naomi's outside Geneva's house because she is furious, and she turns on Geneva almost immediately. Why? Because Geneva is her lawyer, and Naomi keeps coming back trying to sue Franklin over every little thing she can think of. She wants him dragged back into court constantly. And Geneva, being the practical, logical attorney that she is, keeps pumping the brakes and telling Naomi, "Girl, you've already got your money. Let it go." But here's the thing, Naomi is not after more money. What she is after is revenge. The settlement wasn't the point. The point is that Franklin moved on, and the woman he moved on with, she is white, and Naomi is pressed about it. Like she cannot leave it alone. So what does Naomi do? She hired a man, his name is Hakeem, and she has him over with a very specific dynamic. Let's just say Naomi is running things in her personal life the way she wishes she could run Franklin's life. She's got a whole dominatrix energy going on in her personal world, while simultaneously having Hakeem help her create a fake social media account to stalk Franklin's new girlfriend. Y'all, this woman is doing the absolute most in episode 1. She is equal parts hilarious and terrifying. And Portia Coleman plays every bit of it like she was born for this role. Now, something worth noting right here in the early scenes. Tiffany does not like Naomi. There is no chemistry between these two is visible from jump. And this is important because these are supposed to be friends in the same circle. They all know each other through either Geneva or Rashida, but Tiffany has a problem with Naomi. And Naomi? Naomi doesn't have the patience to care what Tiffany thinks about her. There's also a moment where Bridgette and Tiffany are gossiping about secrets that were supposed to stay within the group, and it immediately raises the question of how solid this friendship circle actually is. These women love each other, yes, but love and loyalty are two very different things. And in a Tyler Perry show, that line gets tested fast. For now, file this away. Not everybody in this friend group is who they present themselves to be. Now here is where the episode shifts gears. This is the scene that gives the episode its title. This is the moment that changes Geneva's entire day. Geneva is at the house with Tiffany and little Anika, normal afternoon. Anika is talking the way kids do, innocent, unfiltered, just saying whatever comes to mind, and she casually mentions a pretty lady. Anika says her dad, William, has been talking to a pretty lady. This pretty lady apparently has a daughter named Maddie who goes to the same school as Anika. So this isn't just some random woman. This is someone who is physically present at the school. regularly, who William has apparently been having conversations with. Now Geneva is a lawyer. Her brain is trained to connect dots, to look for patterns, to build a case. And right now, the case she is building in her head is not looking good for her husband. She tries to call the school to get more information. Who is Maddie's mum? Who is this woman? But the school gives her nothing. Privacy policies, limited information, the usual runaround. And that is somehow worse than getting bad news. Because now Geneva is left with a question mark, and a lawyer with a question mark is dangerous. She doesn't confront William. Not yet. Instead, she starts thinking strategically. She is going to find out who this woman is. And she is going to do it without showing her hand before she has all the evidence. Tiffany, watching Geneva spiral, tries to pump the brakes. She tells Geneva not to jump to conclusions, not to assume the worst before she has facts. Which is actually good, grounded advice. But Geneva's face in that moment tells us everything. She is not dismissing it. She is filing it. She is building. Now let's get to the woman who is arguably the emotional center of this entire show, at least in episode 1. Rashida, played by LaToya Luckett. Rashida is the First Lady of God's Light Christian Church. She is poised, she is gracious, she is beautifully dressed. And she carries herself like a woman who was raised to be everything to everyone in that congregation. Her husband is Pastor Jefferson, played by Devon Franklin, and on paper, this couple is goals, the pastor and his first lady, the power couple of the church. But behind closed doors, and even in some very public moments, the cracks are showing. There is a scene with the church clergy, the planning committee for an upcoming church banquet. And the way Pastor Jefferson talks to Rashida in that room is something. He is dismissive. He is condescending. He makes a little joke at her expense in front of church members, something about how much time she takes, and it lands wrong. It is the kind of disrespect that is dressed up as humor, so nobody can call it what it is. But inside, you can see it on LaToya Luckett's face. Rashida is tired. She has been maintaining this performance for a long time, and the cracks are starting to show to the people closest to her. Which brings us to Bridgette, played by Jennifer Sears. Bridgette serves as Rashida's assistant at the church, but she is also one of the girls. She's part of the friend group. And she catches Rashida in a private moment, clearly emotional, clearly struggling. Now here's where it gets interesting. Rashida doesn't fully open up, because Rashida is sharp and she can read people. She can tell the difference between genuine concern and performance. And in this moment, she isn't 100% sure which one she's getting, so she holds back. She keeps her walls up even with someone who claims to be in her corner. This is the defining trait of Rashida in episode 1. She is surrounded by people but deeply alone in her truth. So, while Rashida is dealing with her crumbling marriage on the inside, she's also dealing with a very specific problem on the outside, and his name is Franklin. Remember Franklin, Naomi's ex-husband? The one she is still obsessively, furiously, completely unhinged about? Pastor Jefferson, without consulting Rashida, has invited Franklin to the church banquet. Let that sink in. He invited the ex-husband of one of Rashida's closest friends to their church event. The man that Naomi has been stalking on social media, threatening, and generally directing all of her chaotic energy toward. And Pastor Jeff did this without even giving Rashida a heads up. Rashida is livid. She immediately starts thinking about what happens when Naomi finds out Franklin is going to be there. The chaos that will unfold. The scene that will be made. The embarrassment to the church. She actually considers just uninviting Naomi to protect the event. Bridgette, in her role as both assistant and friend, talks Rashida down. She connects her back to Tiffany in Geneva, gets the group together in communication. Because that is what this sisterhood does. When one of them starts spinning out, the others pull them back to center. But the banquet situation is a ticking clock. And Franklin's presence on that guest list? That is a grenade with the pin already pulled. Before we wrap, let's do a quick-fire breakdown of where each woman stands after episode 1. Tiffany, 3 years divorced, still paying alimony, emotionally guarded, and the most level-headed person in the room. She's the one who tells Geneva not to spiral. She's the anchor. But there are layers we haven't seen yet. Geneva's still married but now suspicious. Her daughter planted a seed called the Pretty Lady, and Geneva is a lawyer, which means that seed is already growing into a full case file in her head. The getaway with William is happening, but does she really want to go now? Rashida, the first lady who is about to find out her crown, has been sitting on a cracked foundation. LaToya Luckett is giving everything in this role. Episode 1 belongs to her. Naomi, divorced, paid, unbothered by money, absolutely consumed by revenge. She is chaos personified, and this show wouldn't be half as entertaining without her. But underneath all that fire is a woman who is genuinely hurt and genuinely lost without the identity she had in that marriage. Bridgette, the most underserved character in episode 1. We don't get much of her backstory yet. We know she's Rashida's assistant, she's one of the girls, and she seems to be the glue in the group. Her own situation with a man named Vaughn is coming, but episode 1 keeps her in a supporting role. Her time is coming. So that is your full, detailed breakdown of Tyler Perry's Divorced Sistas, Season 1, Episode 1, The Pretty Lady. Tyler Perry came out of the gate with 5 women, 5 problems, and 1 absolutely devastating episode ending. This premiere does exactly what a good pilot should do. It introduces you to everyone, makes you care, and then pulls the rug out from under you at the end. Now I want to hear from you in the comments. Whose storyline hit you the hardest in episode 1? Are you Team Rashida? Are you worried about Geneva? Or are you just here to watch Naomi burn everything down? Drop it in the comments below. Hit that like button if this breakdown helped you out. Subscribe to No Spoilers so you don't miss the episode 2 breakdown. Because honey, things don't slow down. They speed up. And as always, no spoilers, all the drama. See you in the next one.